Okay, we are on the air.
Great, thank you. Okay, calling to order the meeting of the Long Hill Township Planning Board for August 11th, 2026. The time is 7:34, according to my watch. So, Madam Secretary, would you do the honors?
Absolutely. Number one, call to order and statement of compliance. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting dates on the municipal bulletin board and website, by sending a copy to the Echo Sentinel newspaper, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. Number two, standard board procedures. Any meeting conducted by the board is a quasi-judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision, and decorum appropriate to a judicial meeting or hearing must be maintained at all times. Number three, electronic devices. All in attendance are asked to mute cell phones or any electronic devices as to not interrupt the proceedings. Number four, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So number five is the oath of office to Committeeman Verleza, who is absent this evening.
Yes,
So-
he does send his regrets. He had to attend a wake this evening. So.
I will mark him as excused then.
Yep, thank you. He
Okay.
did it for me.
Okay, so roll call.
Feedback from Mike. Is Mike? Please,
Okay,
okay.
all right. Okay, Mr. Lavender.
Present.
Okay, this is Committeeman and the other Mr. Lavender.
Present.
Present. And Committeeman Verleza is excused this evening. Mr. Hands?
Here.
Mr. Lavarerio?
Here.
Ms. Ogens?
Here.
Mr. Opalka is excused this evening. Vice Chairman Jones is on his way. We will mark him here accordingly when he arrives. And Chairman Richardson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, getting right into our agenda this evening. The first agenda item is Master Plan Consistency Review. This is an ordinance that was developed by the Township Committee, ordinance number 595-26. And I'll just read into the record the title of the ordinance here, if you bear with me. This is an ordinance of the Township of Long Hill, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending the township zoning map and land use ordinance by creating a new assisted living zone and rezoning block 11301, lot 4, to permit an assisted living and memory care residence as a permitted primary use consistent with the township's fourth round housing element and fair share plan, the township's settlement agreement with the Fair Share Housing Center, and the Superior Court's judgment of compliance, and propose and supplementing and amending various sections of the township land use ordinance. That's a mouthful, guys. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to our board attorney to just provide a little bit of an overview and the parameters around and the scope of our work this evening.
Okay. I know that the board recalls other ordinances that were sent recently to you for a consistency review. So what the board is looking at here is whether or not this ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan as adopted by this board in 2023. That's our newest master plan. So the Township Committee isn't asking us to opine on this ordinance or on its propriety, but whether or not it's not inconsistent with the master plan of the township. This ordinance is based upon an approval that was granted for the property that is at issue in this ordinance. This approval was granted a number of years ago. After the approval was granted, the units that were created in that approval were then added to the housing element of the master plan. So these units that we're talking about are already in the master plan. And right now, what the township is doing is simply rezoning that parcel to make clear that this is what the permitted use is going to be. And the township entered into a consent order effectively for ending the affordable housing matter. And this has been memorialized in that. And it is already, as I said, a part of the master plan, and now it's being codified in the zoning ordinance effectively.
Great. Thank you. I just wanted to mention, so just for recollection, so our master plan was adopted in December of 2023, and the housing element was then subsequently adopted in June of 2025. So just, again, and again, as Yolanta mentioned, the housing element is part and parcel to the master plan.
Yes.
So, any questions with regards to this, any discussion?
No, I'm gonna have questions.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
So just as a source of comparison,
Mhm.
the car wash site, when we needed to adjust,
Pam,
Oh,
talking to the
microphone.
microphone.
Yeah.
when we needed to adjust
Yeah,
bulk,
you can
Just
just
pull it,
adjust that down.
just down towards you, yeah, there you go.
There you go.
when we needed to adjust the bulk requirements for specific use at the car wash site, that's what we did. We took that lot and we changed the bulk standards just for that lot. What's the reasoning behind creating a new zone and not doing the same here? I'm just thinking, what would happen if, okay, if this developer at the last minute said, I'm not going through on this, and somebody else comes along and still meets our affordable housing commitment allotment and says, all right, well, I'm not gonna do affordable housing, I'm gonna put up apartments. If we change the bulk standard for that lot, like we did for the car wash, then so be it. But if we kind of commit ourselves to affordable housing and something happens that doesn't come to fruition, it's zoned only for assisted living. So why basically are we creating a new zone rather than just changing bulk standards for that lot like we've done in the past?
Well, the bulk standards have been lifted effectively from the approval that was granted for the lot. So that is being incorporated into this, and all this is a codification, a legal codification in the ordinance of an approval that is in existence right now. It exists. And this was the basis for their settlement with Fair Share Housing Center for the affordable housing plan. So they're simply putting this in as, they're making it law. They're making it legislation. They're codifying an approval that's already there and that made it into the housing element.
So who's they?
The Township Committee, who introduced this ordinance. And it's based upon that variance that was granted, that approval that was granted for this property.
By the zoning.
By the
board.
zoning board of adjustment. I don't know, maybe let's back it up a little bit, maybe that wasn't clear.
Yeah.
But the zoning board, a couple of years ago, granted approval, and everything that you see here that's in the ordinance was granted by the zoning board to this property for this use. And at that point, since some of the units in this building were going to be dedicated affordable, it then made it into our housing element and fair share plan as, satisfying part of the township's affordable housing obligation. That's how it got there. So now what this is a codification, basically legislation that codifies the approval as granted by the zoning board to ensure that this comes to fruition and that land is zoned for that. So that if someone were to walk away, it's still zoned for exactly what was contemplated to satisfy the affordable housing obligation.
But as far as the use change, maybe you could address that part of Pam's question. If they change the use, essentially you're saying if they decide to come in with apartments or something,
Well-
that approval is not consistent with this ordinance then,
No,
at all.
no,
Do you
it's
follow?
not. I mean, this is part of the settlement agreement. They signed a settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center. It was blessed by the court. And that's what the township has to comply with. That's what the township promised to comply with in terms of what they're going to provide in this fourth round, fourth affordable housing round. So they're trying to make this happen, you know, because it's part of the housing element already.
Just refresh my memory, in the fair share in the housing element, did it specifically say for assisted living, or was it just a allotment of
I think it did.
units?
It's pretty.
And it,
Oh, David has it. yeah.
it
does.
specifically says assisted living, and it has this site,
Everything,
because it reflects this approval that Yolanta was talking about.
Just to explain, just go through again for our benefit, for a distinct district or zone, as opposed to, as Pam was asking about, just the property itself. Why the zone? Is there,
Well, because why is it being rezoned? This is something that happens a lot as a result of affordable housing settlement agreements, that as a condition, you know, of the court-approved settlement, sites have to be rezoned. It seemingly is the only time that a lot can be spot zoned. But if it's being spot zoned for this public purpose to provide affordable housing, it's permissive. And so that is, I believe that is why the Township Committee is electing to rezone this. Is most likely because of their settlement agreement, and the court is making them do it.
Very much.
So could we have done the same with the car wash site?
We did. It was a redevelopment plan, which, if redevelopment plan is essentially takes the same characteristics, the same power as a zoning ordinance. So essentially, but it was redevelopment, which is a whole nother process, but the actual.
Which is more legal spot zoning.
But it is, but the effect of that redevelopment plan is just the same as rezoning that car wash site.
Gotcha, even though we changed the bulk standards for
Well,
one specific lot.
That's exactly right. And so just as we're doing here, it's a zone that's specific to this site, specifically to provide affordable housing.
Gotcha.
It's two separate circumstances. We arrived at the same, you know, the same result in two different ways. With this one, it was a trip before the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a use variance, and with the car wash site, it was a trip before the Planning Board for a redevelopment. So, different mechanisms, same result, because they both resulted in a rezoning. This one in particular, because it contains affordable housing.
Yeah.
No, excellent question. Thank you. Any other questions, Pam, while you got the floor?
No, I think that basically was it. Just the lot number 1058, isn't that the Walgreens building? So
There's two lots, right, that are referenced in here, and one of them includes the Walgreens lot.
so that'll be part of the assisted living?
It hasn't been subdivided yet.
As part of
Yeah.
this approval, it, you know, went to the zoning board for site plan approval and subdivision approval. It would be subdivided from the Walgreens site. It doesn't contemplate
Demolition.
taking down that building or replacing it in any way. It would be subdividing a portion of that site for the creation of this, an undeveloped, well, actually, I'm not sure it's undeveloped, but it would not impact the Walgreens
Yeah, I think
building.
this parcel is undeveloped, and there was a subdivision application for a lot line adjustment to take part of that land and add it to the rest of that land to create the assisted living facility that was contemplated in the housing element. That's what was to happen, and I think that that's what this is codifying, that, exactly that.
So when we have a new zoning map, it won't show Walgreens as zoned assisted living?
It will. Right, no, oh, sorry. Yes, you're 100% correct. It will not show Walgreens zone for assisted living. It'll show Walgreens zone for, I believe, the BD.
The BD.
But it'll show this portion of that lot as whatever this zone is called.
I keep thinking it says AI, it's a AL.
It's AL, yeah,
Oh, the assisted living zone, yes.
assisted living zone.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's gonna be taken out of that.
Yeah, and there is split lot zoning occasionally where a lot is split between two different zones. It happens, and this one will be until there's a lot line adjustment applied for again.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that will come forth, the lot lines, because there's no clarity of when that lot line exists or is shown anywhere.
I think, not in this ordinance, but it is in the site plan and in the subdivision plan. So, for example, when the zoning map gets redrawn for a very reasonable price,
Yes, plus or minus.
it will reflect the subdivision that was approved.
Because we did not see the application, it went to the zoning board, so
yeah.
it's not as clear in our
Yeah,
mind
yeah,
what
right.
that looks like, but you're saying there was, in the resolution I had a quick look at, I didn't see, it didn't have any reference to that.
It references the site plan and subdivision drawings that were part of that approval.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, well, just,
Yes,
So
yeah,
is this
they-
a concept, or is there actually a site plan?
there was a site
there
plan.
was.
There was an approved site plan that the board looked at, and the result, the approval, is what's codified in here. That's what the board approved.
So for,
I can go on the zoning board and actually see that?
I think,
No.
you
the-
can't because
Is
they
it
took
still
it
on there?
down.
No, the plans are not. You can come to my office, or I can send you the plans, yeah.
But I did look at the resolution, because we did include it in with the fair share, the housing element.
yes,
If you look at that resolution there, it's about 15 pages. I had a quick scan through. One thing that just jumped out to me is a 43.5 feet height.
Yes.
So I knew from that what we've got here is in alignment to what was discussed with the zoning board. So I was comfortable with that in principle, but I have not seen the lots. So
Okay. Thank you.
just one stupid thing here.
Yeah.
The zone district, they say zone district twice here. Can anybody strike this out?
oh,
Where- where-
the
where are
assisted
you?
living zone district, zone district.
Yeah, under therefore, the first therefore, section 1, at the end. Because it, AL says here, living zone district, period, zone district. I mean, I don't see why that needs, you see what I'm looking at.
I know what you're saying. Section 1, under now therefore.
What page?
The second
Second
page.
page, it's under the therefore, be it done, section 1. At the end, it has period, zone district. It's just like, somebody didn't delete those.
I think that that's just a typographical
Yeah,
error.
Someone just needs to delete it.
Well, which
Yeah,
one?
do we
Because
wanna
I'm the one, when I do the resolution and send it to them tomorrow. What,
Okay.
so, I'm sorry, where is that?
Section 1,
Section 1?
under now therefore be it ordained, section 1,
Yeah.
it says AL assisted
Yeah.
living zone district, zone district.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's just a typo.
Yeah, just typo. Okay. I'll point that out.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, any other questions with regards to this? Any other typos people have noticed that we can help improve this document for them?
I noticed a small typo at
Yes,
the
please.
the third whereas from the bottom on the first page. It says Court of New Jury.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
On the first page?
The
Yes,
one.
of the ordinance.
Yeah, where, the,
Yeah, the first, there's
Third.
3 whereases at the bottom. It's the third one up from the bottom.
oh, New Jersey. Okay.
New Jersey, it's a new state.
Yeah.
Oh, New Jersey, the New Jersey Law
Got it.
Division.
What do they say? Leave the S out for savings.
Yeah.
We're an affordable state now. We're
There you go.
Boy, we are aging ourselves.
an affordable state. Okay, good catch. Anything else? All right, so what I'd like to propose is, Yolanta, could you frame out what we should vote on then in regards to the phraseology?
Yes, if anybody would like to make a motion finding ordinance 595-26 to be not inconsistent with the master plan.
And I will prepare the resolution to be sent to the township committee tomorrow. Sorry, Scott.
So moved.
Okay.
A second.
Okay. Mr. S. Lavender.
Yes.
Mr. Hands.
Yes.
Mr. J. Lavender.
Yes.
Mr. Lavererio.
Yes.
Ms. Ojins.
Yes.
Vice Chairman's not here, so Chairman Richardson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Okay, I was hoping that we would delay long enough to bring one of our key team captains for the ordinance review discussion, but I think we're gonna move on. David, I didn't know if you would like to help shepherd the discussion, and then also our professionals can chime in with regards to the ordinances that we wanted to introduce.
It's fine by me. Firstly, I think tomorrow night you're going to speak before the township committee.
Yes.
To just outline, and Deb, put down a small agenda, not a small agenda, an agenda of the list of ordinances that have been
This is really our accomplishments, right?
done,
Yep.
are yet to, or are with the township committee,
Yep.
or still with the discussion with York. And I think there's a couple more that we have at the end of this
Yes,
the
I
agenda
will,
to-
I will be
to walk-
revising that and sending it to the
to
entire
walk
board.
through as well.
Thank you.
So a lot of good stuff has been done, as we know, and really, I think let's just talk the next two items, really, perhaps,
Yep.
just get those out of the way, and then we're on good path. And I think there's some, I don't know if we want to discuss some, let's just get these ones out of the way first that we've
Yeah, perfect.
discussed.
Okay, so do we want to tackle the expiration of variance first, since that's the first one showing up in my packet?
And let me just back up for 2 seconds. Some of this has been, not to put back on Yolanta back on the spot, but these are some of the things that Yolanta's taken a quick and keen interest in, because these are some ones that have either come up through from the zoning board, or just a natural, sort of relatively quick wins to get some stuff out of the way. So this was one
Clean up,
with
yeah.
and just to help with the mechanics for Deb as well, so. Yolanta, do you want to talk through as much as you do about the
Sure. So,
variance exploration?
yes, thank you. So the ordinance currently contains a provision regarding the expiration of variances. These are variances that are obtained from the zoning board, primarily. Use variances, bulk variances, because the approvals that are granted by the planning board generally, site plan approvals, subdivision approvals, they have their own statutory time limitations. Variances do not. Variances may be limited by the municipality. And Long Hill saw fit to limit a variance approval to a year previously. And after a year, the variance would expire unless an applicant who obtained this variance would present themselves with an application for an extension before the zoning board of adjustment. There were no standards, or there are no standards in the ordinance currently for the zoning board to apply to determine whether or not to extend the variance. Now, generally, it's implied that the applicant has to show good cause in front of the zoning board, but the ordinance doesn't say that. And it doesn't have any limitations with regard to how many additional years can the zoning board grant, and are there any other limitations? Oh, here's Vice Chairman Jones.
Right.
Should I wait? Should I go on? We're in the middle of a discussion about expiration of variances.
Good evening,
John?
and good night.
Yeah.
So what the ordinance review committee discussed first, because what the ordinance had required initially was that the variance will expire unless actual construction or alteration have been commenced. So because it's sometimes difficult to get a permit, it takes a while before construction can actually commence. The Ordinance Review Committee discussed this and decided that it would be better to extend that to actually obtaining a permit instead of doing actual construction or commencing the use.
You mean applying for the permit?
So, I'm sorry, applying for a permit. So that's the first thing that was changed, is that the applicant no longer has to actually commence construction because that may take more than a year. And then that's forcing somebody to come back to the board to ask for an extension because they're waiting to get a permit so that they can start building. So what this allows is it will expire unless they apply for a permit. So the minute they apply for a permit, there's no expiration because they've taken action on it. The second thing that was discussed is an increase for the initial 12 months to 14 months. And the reason for that is because people will generally not start building, not start applying for a permit until the 45-day appeal period has run. So from the date of adoption and publication of a resolution of approval, anyone has 45 days to challenge the board's approval. And depending on how quickly the board secretary, who always does her work expeditiously, but depending on how quickly that resolution is published after adoption, that could take a week. So that 45 days then stretches into a little bit longer than 45 days, sometimes up to 2 months, potentially. So the board, using that benchmark, thought that it was fair to increase the time period from 12 months to 14 months to account for that 2-month period that the applicant is waiting for the appeal period to end. So that's the reasoning for that 14 months. So now, if someone gets a variance, they now have 14 months from the date the resolution is adopted. I think that's what we have here, right? From adoption of the approving resolution. So they have their 14 months. If 14 months passes and they still haven't gotten their permit to start in with their use, or they haven't commenced the use within the 14 months, then they can, and of course, all of this is told in the event that there is a lawsuit going on, or there's some appeal to a court, then that time period is frozen for the time that the appeal is going on. That is true in the ordinance as it is today, and it will continue to be true with this ordinance as well. And then we added the standards, because the Board of Adjustment, it's implied that they can approve an extension for good cause shown, but we've actually put that into the ordinance. So now, the Ordinance Review Committee has also discussed this next part where I have a question, where I have the question marks, and they have limited the extension of time between, beyond the 14-month limitation up to 2 additional years. So now, if an applicant is asking for an extension, the zoning board is now limited to allowing that extension for anything above 2 years. They have to limit it to 2 years, because presumably, without any limitation, an applicant can keep coming back to the zoning board and can keep getting extensions if there's no limitation in the ordinance, and there has never been a limitation in the ordinance. So the townships, the township has a brand-new master plan. The township is going to be adopting ordinances to implement the new master plan. There is a strong zoning policy in the town, and, the township would like, for everybody to comply with that zoning policy, and allowing someone to keep getting extensions for something that is not allowed in the zoning ordinance just goes against the zoning policy. So the point is, when you come before a zoning board and you demonstrate that you meet the criteria at that time, that may not be true 2 or 3 years down the line. And that's the reason for this limitation. And another limitation that's added is, so long as the zoning applicable to the applicant's property has not changed since the approval for which the extension is sought. So the applicant has that 14 months from getting their resolution approved until the time that they need a permit. If they can't manage that, and the zoning has changed since that time, because remember, if they're before the zoning board, they are demonstrating the positive and negative criteria. Part of the negative criteria is that there is no substantial detriment to the zoning ordinance or the master plan. Well, if the zoning ordinance changes, how do we know in the future whether or not the board would have still approved that use variance. So this limitation is simply that if anything has changed from the time that the applicant has come to the zoning board, they can't get an extension. They should have worked on getting a permit during the time permitted. They're not going to get any extensions. And even if they do get extensions, at this point, under this ordinance, they can only get 2 more extensions for 2 years maximum.
2 extensions?
Well, for 2 years maximum, or 1 extension for the 2 years. It's however the zoning board wants to approach it. The zoning board, I mean, the zoning board's hands aren't tied to 1-year extensions. That's generally what happens, is they'll grant a 1-year extension and then have them go back. But under this ordinance, it doesn't say that, so the zoning board can grant a 2-year extension if necessary, but it's within their discretion.
Okay, but it's just 1 2-year extension. I thought I heard you say
Correct.
two years.
No. 2 1-year extensions or 1 2-year extension.
2 1-year extensions, right, gotcha. So that could be a flexibility on their part.
Yes,
Up to 2 years, how they can break it up in 2 lots of ones?
Yes.
Or 1 lot of 2?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Just to be clear on that, an extension up to 2 years after the 14-month,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
That's more precise wording,
Yes, because the
Because-
14-month
yeah.
is the freebie.
because if you've got,
Hmm.
yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, the 14 months is the time within which an applicant has to work on getting their permits and getting their work started.
38 months.
Yes,
Pretty much.
the max, yes,
Is that consistent with other towns?
pretty much,
Yeah.
yes.
We're not an outlier.
No,
Okay.
no, but it's okay to be an outlier, as long as it's, it works with your zoning policy.
Is there an exception to the 2 years if you come in, I don't know, 2.5 years and you want to file another extension? Would that be considered a new applicant?
Well,
You mean beyond the
No,
first,
you're in
now
the
you're
middle of
past
the
38
You're in
months.
the 38 months, you're still in there, but you
Yeah.
realize, I'm gonna wanna make a change or something. You've seen that.
Yeah.
You've seen applications come,
Yeah.
they say they're gonna build a house, and they're gonna put a tennis court on it, they're gonna put a basketball court on it, and then nothing gets built.
Yeah.
But they knock down the old house.
Mhm.
if they are outside of these parameters, and that's why we're having this conversation right now, it's a new application.
Okay, I
They-
can live with that.
They
Yeah.
have to come in with a new application.
Yep,
Yeah.
I just don't, I just wanted to understand, is there an exception process or not? And it doesn't sound like there is, it becomes a new applicant after 30
Yes,
months.
it
Okay,
becomes a
that's
brand
good.
new application, and they have to go through the whole process again.
Yep.
And, I mean, that's the risk you
Well, that's-
take.
That's a risk you take, and that's in their best interest to get the development done, otherwise it's going to they'll sell the property, and someone new will come along and either build what they originally were gonna put on that property, or if they're gonna come in as a new applicant. Yep.
That's exactly right, and it allows the township to control what happens, you know, it allows the township to enforce its own zoning policy, because if you're not going to build what you were approved to build for 3 and 4 years, you know,
But we've seen that.
things-
We've seen
things
people come
change.
before this board
Yeah.
and saying, this was approved 10 years ago, why can't I build this now? And now I'm
Right.
gonna change it, and I'm gonna do this to the property, and now I'm
Right.
gonna do this to the property.
I just got a call today for a variance from 2020 for a brand-new house, and they said, can I get an extension? I said, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
gee.
and that's what we're trying to
Mm.
learn.
I think
But
that's
the
the
Five
two,
right
years,
thing to
yeah.
do.
6
the
years.
2 years is acceptable just in regards to trying to get stuff done in the
Mhm.
state is
Mhm.
not easy. So, I mean, we
If
are
you're
helping
showing
the
good
app,
faith-
yeah, we're
Right.
helping the applicant reduce some of their administrative costs.
Agreed.
Right, reasonably,
Reasonable. yeah.
Right.
right,
Yeah.
not just this blanket forever approval.
And I do like the fact that it's also taking into account that there's going to be changes within our master plan in the coming years,
Mhm.
either the 10-year cycle or an interim in between.
Right.
And it accounts for that.
Yep.
And you're not dealing with legacy, we'll call it a hangover.
Right, right.
Master
And
plan hangover.
because the zoning board is still, under the municipal land use law, is still empowered to deal with any question presented to it, if it is presented with a completely unique circumstance, you know, something that happened that was absolutely not within someone's control, like a moratorium on something that occurred after, you know, within the time that the applicant could still get extensions, but then extended beyond that time, the zoning board is still empowered to override this. They always are, because,
Case by case at that point.
but it's a case-by-case
And it's
basis.
gotta be extreme,
It has to be.
extenuous.
Well, I'm glad you
Extenuous.
said that, because in the case of the 2020, that was COVID.
Mm.
I can understand
Right.
where things had to
Well,
be.
well, like, 2020 was
Yeah.
COVID, but 2021 was no longer COVID, and they could have come in and gotten
Yeah,
a
18
permit
months
then.
later.
2021.
You know,
Well, and the
Well,
sad-
let's not forget, we had a sewer moratorium.
Yeah,
They couldn't do
Yeah.
anything.
yeah.
Well, the sad
Not
thing
a
too
lot
is
of
that
these.
that particular case, they had an attorney, and the attorney did not inform the applicant, you know,
Of the timeframes.
guess not,
Right.
That's an issue.
yeah,
That's their issue.
that's their issue.
That's their issue, not ours. I mean, there are moratoria, and if you come to the board and you show good cause, the zoning board is still empowered to grant an extension beyond this if for good cause shown. This ordinance is establishing the parameters, you know, to give the board guidance, but the zoning board still has the power to answer any question about the ordinance and to make these decisions, because it is the zoning board's decision in the first place to grant the variance. And they are the interpreters of the ordinance. They're empowered under their powers to interpret the ordinance. And they understand the master plan as well as the planning board does, and how to apply it and what it means. I mean, the Board of Adjustment works in conjunction with, you know, with everything that goes on in the township, and they are also enforcing the zoning ordinance. And they grant exceptions from it occasionally.
Right.
And everybody likes to see parameters, because it's very difficult when you don't have parameters.
And you need guide rails.
You,
That's right.
you do need
So-
guide rails, because it makes it easier to determine which are the cases that you're going to grant an extension for, because they're presenting a case that's unlike any case, and they really do deserve that relief.
And
Okay,
honestly,
well, we started with-
most
yeah.
applicants that that seek an extension, they come in before the year is up. I
Right.
mean, it's,
Mhm.
there's definitely financial hardships or other things that, you know, occur, so, but 99% of the applicants, they realize and they
So
will
this
come
is
in.
really addressing more some of the outliers, right,
Yeah.
exactly. So are there any other questions or comments on this? Any other suggested modifications to this
Just as part of my own
draft ordinance?
learning process, it says, shall provide be told from the date filing an appeal, and then new is in accordance with law. What is the law? What does the law say?
Well,
Just, you don't have to,
The-
just brief.
briefly, the ordinance, the old ordinance goes in and it talks about where you can file an appeal. So it says, to the township committee or to a court of competent jurisdiction. And then it says, in any manner of such appeal or proceeding. So it's just very wordy. So the ordinance review committee's goal also is to make things less wordy. And just simply, you know, if we say in accordance with law, there are only a couple of ways that you can appeal from a decision, from a zoning board approval. You can go to court, or at least in the township of Long Hill, you can appeal from an approval to the township committee. So there's only those two ways, really. So instead of going through and listing all the ways, we just said in accordance with the law. And anyone who's gonna file a lawsuit is gonna know what law, you know,
Or an
or,
appeal.
yeah, what an appeal is and how to do the appeal, or what they're appealing from and where they're appealing to.
Anything else?
So with just the amendments to the 2 years and the strikeout.
Yes,
And then the state of New Jersey and the
Yes.
state,
yes.
is this then good enough for approval?
Board decides it is, then we will have a motion and a second to have me forwarded to the township committee for first reading.
So the red part, we're gonna change to up to 1 2-year or two
No,
1
up,
year?
up to
Up to two additional years.
She
And
was
we're-
striking the one.
Yeah.
And I think Scott had a suggestion. I mean, are we going to adopt the clarity suggestion of the language that you had made, Scott, in regards to, you had thought that it wasn't exactly clear. Is that right, for this sentence?
Yeah. Let me just read it out loud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Board of Adjustment, upon written request and for good cause shown, may grant an extension of time beyond the 14-month limitation, not to exceed 2 more additional years.
Okay.
Not to exceed 2 years or 24 months. I mean, it's two ways of skinning a cat.
Okay,
I don't, I'm
not to exceed 24 additional months beyond the 14
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we stay with months
That's
instead of
fine.
years.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I think
24
somebody could
months?
do the math.
Total. Yeah,
And
I can do the math.
that still gives them flexibility if they say 18 months or 14
or 3
months.
months or whatever.
They have that limit,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
control. That's fine.
That's fine.
Very good,
Thank you.
very good.
Good, and then earlier, it gets into what you were saying about it being driven by the approving of the resolution.
Yes,
Yeah, perfect.
yes. Rather than, because.
Right, repeating, it would be repetitive to put it in
Yeah,
there.
initially it said from the date of entry of the judgment or determination of the Board of Adjustment.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that means.
Right.
When is the determination?
Don't say any stuff.
Right. Good. Okay, is there a motion to accept that with the modifications?
With those modifications, yes, I motion to accept
And I'll second that.
the ordinance.
I'll second that.
All right.
We can do an all in favor on
Yes.
this one, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
Beautiful.
Very good.
Thank you. All right, who would like to introduce our next? This one should be even more straightforward. Just very straightforward.
Probably best if Yolanta goes over
Yes,
this one.
imagine, you're on the, you're in the flow.
Okay,
You're in the flow. You're in the zone.
I'm in the zone.
Ah, which zone's that? Is that affordable housing?
Yeah, what
zone?
zone? What zone are you in?
Is this the one we talk about font type and size?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm looking for.
That's exactly what it is. So this is just part of the cleanup ordinance. It's just, we're just cleaning little things here and there. So the first section is LU 171.5. The planning board shall elect a chairman and vice chairman. The ordinance right now says from its members. That's not entirely correct. It's from among its class 4 members. So that's what we're adding. Because a class 1, a class 2, and a class 3 cannot be the chairman.
Gotcha.
Only class 4 members. So that's just being, it's statutory, and it's just being a little bit more specific. Because there hasn't been a question in Long Hill, but there was a question that came to me in another town, whether a class 2 can be a chairman or a vice chairman, and the answer is no. So for avoidance of confusion, this is just, copying and
Yep.
pasting exactly what the statute requires. That's all.
Yep.
The second one, notice requirements for hearings and publication of decisions is very similar. The law recently changed where now these things are not required to be published in the official newspaper of the township. They have to be published, like, if, for example, the publication of decisions have to be published on the website rather than in a newspaper.
Newspapers becoming harder and harder.
It
Well,
really
yeah.
is.
Yeah, and they're still
The printed
published,
form.
they're still published on a newspaper's website.
Website.
Right.
Not in a physical
Not a physical
piece of
form.
paper. anymore.
Exactly. So the first one, public notice has to be given by an applicant, but it's no longer by publication in the official newspaper of the township. It's technically, the township doesn't have to designate an official newspaper. And the municipal land use law actually says it's just a newspaper in general circulation. Now, the township did designate an official newspaper, and so did the boards, because in order to publish in a news website, it has to have a certain reach. And it has to demonstrate that it has that reach. an applicant coming in before a board, especially an applicant without an attorney, is not gonna understand that they can't publish in, like, I don't know, Facebook, even though Facebook probably has a reach, but
Much bigger reach
a
than-
much bigger reach than some of these publications.
I was gonna use
But-
MySpace.
but-
but okay.
But, you know, but they,
Squarespace.
I mean, that's a joke, but, you know, there are these tiny, teeny, tiny little news publications that are popping up here and again, and they advertise on social media, but they don't really exist anywhere else. And I can see how someone could be confused and can go to one of these publications, and I can see how they would say, sure, we can run your ad, but they're not an official, or, well, you don't have
It
to.
doesn't have the reach.
Yeah, it just, it doesn't
and the
comply
larger brand.
with the statutory requirement for how many persons or computers or whatever it actually touches, that how much of exposure that you get from this publication. So,
But this is also a bit of an 80-20 rule, right? Because not every newspaper gets to every resident in town, just like not everybody has an internet capabilities to get to the internet page.
right,
So it doesn't have to achieve 100%, but it has to achieve a majority or give access for someone to gain
Yes.
access to that information.
yes, yes,
Well,
absolutely.
and honestly, the truth be told, the main form of notification when it comes to applications for either board is the 200-foot list.
The letter,
That's
Mm.
exactly,
Right.
Because
that
that
was gonna be
still
my
is in
next comment.
place,
Those
and-
are the ones who have to receive, and that's certified mail
yep,
to those people that reside, or to those residents who reside within 200 feet of the area of interest.
Correct.
right. So what we're changing here is that we're taking out the official newspaper of the township, just for avoidance of doubt, because the township technically isn't even required to designate one anymore, and it may choose not to. The reason it does now is because applicants are just not going to know. So I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think actually
I
it's a,
think we're
it's
moving
a,
with the times on this.
yeah, we are. And I think it's a good thing that the township continues to designate a news source, if not a newspaper, a news source, where applicants automatically know, okay, this one has the reach, I can use this one, I can publish in this one, and it's fine. But we're no longer calling it the official newspaper of the township, not required. So we're just saying in accordance with law.
I think recently you said there were some changes. This was
Yes.
discussed, it's not just this discussion here, it's a broader discussion that's been held elsewhere.
Yeah, I think I did a memo at the beginning of the year, and
And
we did a
new
resolution.
in March.
We did a
yes.
resolution in March.
No- Yeah.
Designating a news source where applicants can be certain, you know, as certain as we can be, you know, because these things may change, that the reach of, you know, the designated news source is consistent with what the statute requires, basically. So that's why we're saying in accordance with law, rather than talking about any official township newspapers. And in the second one, the publication of decisions, that one's even more clear that it's in accordance with law, because law now requires it to be published on a website, on the township's website. Now, if in the future, in a year, in 2, in 3, something else happens and they decide to change it, we're not gonna have to change this ordinance, because it's still gonna be in accordance with law. And I'm a big fan of writing ordinances that you don't have to change every couple of years, because these things slip through the cracks.
So how long does, so decisions, right, so resolutions, I
Yes.
presume. How long does resolutions have to be accessible if it's on the website?
They don't have to be put on the website at all.
They don't? It just-
The notice of decision has to be.
Yeah, and that's only, and the notice of decision, I don't think they keep it up there. I'll have to look.
It has to go in an archive.
I-
Right, but
After it's published on the website, it then
Yeah.
goes in an archive so that people can, you know,
yeah, that's a good question, yeah.
I would challenge, because I couldn't find just resolutions.
There's no resolutions on there.
there's a notice of decision. There's notice that
notice
there
of
is a
decision.
resolution.
Right, but
Yeah.
on the zoning, there was not much.
There's no resolutions on the website, yeah.
Right, but it's something, because at least, yeah, just make sure it's, that we are doing something on the website, because I didn't see some stuff. That's all,
Okay.
just double check.
Haven't we in the past posted it at the town hall on the bulletin board?
Hmm.
What?
notice of hearings and notice of decision or anything like that?
No, not for applications, for dates,
Every final decision.
not for notice
Yeah,
of
like a
decision,
physical,
just-
physical paper
Yeah,
on the
like
board.
in January, the legally I
Just dates and
post,
meetings. Dates of
the
decision.
dates for after we have our reorg meetings and the contracts.
Mhm.
So just remind, what does a brief notice of final decision actually look like?
Oh, it's,
Now I think
it's
about
just
it.
that, you know, the zoning board of adjustment on this and this date approved application number, blah, 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 and, you know, it gives a brief description of the property and then what was granted, and the, you know, the date of adoption of the resolution, basically.
I've been posting them on the Echoes. I don't know if I've posted them on our township.
Because I couldn't
We
find
should be.
anything like that.
All right, I can go back and post them.
Because I think it'd be helpful, if we're going to go down this path,
Oh, 100%.
then we need to make sure everything is accessible.
course.
Because nothing jumps to mind.
You can also, there is, if you Google New Jersey public notice, well, you can limit it to, and you can go back in time kind
Really?
of indefinitely.
You
I use
can.
it all the time.
No, I do it
Really?
too.
Yeah.
And now with this new law, the New Jersey Secretary of State has a repository for all notices. So if you're ever looking for a notice, the state is now archiving all of these notices. So every municipality, agency,
We
authority
should,
that has to do notices should have gotten like a, I don't know, pin or whatever from the Secretary of State where they get to now upload their notices, and that's being archived by the state.
I'm still navigating my way through it too, because literally like residential applicants who don't have attorneys, like I've been helping them with it, you know, but those who have attorneys, the attorneys handle it, so it's been a learning curve.
yeah. I think there's, yeah, because I've said enough. I think we need to think about how things are presented
Mm.
and accessible and searchable in easy manner.
Not a webmaster.
The one thing I want to bring to your attention, and something that I didn't think about earlier, but maybe is worth a discussion right now, especially with Deb, is that publication is arranged by the Secretary of Approving Authority. Is that still true?
What do you mean, that I'm,
That's-
Yeah, public
Right,
notice
right.
shall be given by publication now in accordance with law at least 10 days prior to the date of hearing. Such publications shall be arranged by the Secretary of the Approving Authority, as the case may be, upon payment of the fees set forth in section 180 of this ordinance.
yes,
That's still true?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we don't need to change that in any way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And I know that the publication of decision is, you always do that.
I always
So
do it,
that one,
yeah.
I'm not even a question.
And now you have me terrified, because I might be behind. I'm gonna have to go back and look at all the websites tomorrow and be like, oh my gosh, wait. Because this year has not been as busy as the last couple of years, like it's, but anyway.
Till now.
Any other questions, comments on this particular ordinance?
Just curious, what fees are there? Is that like,
So the fee is, so for instance, if I've been posting for residents that don't have attorneys, I post through the Echoes. And the Echoes Sentinel still provides a copy of what goes on the internet and an affidavit,
Yep,
because we have to have an affidavit for the file.
affidavit of publication.
A
So they charge,
publication of the
for
date,
it.
because
Yep.
it has, so they
Yep.
charge for that,
Echoes does?
correct?
Yes.
So the Echoes bills the township, I bill the escrow of the applicant.
Mhm.
Interesting.
And the same goes with the notification of memorialization. Once the resolution is memorialized and I noted in the paper, yeah, I charge accordingly. That we don't, it's interesting, because that's kind of where we're, like, it's acceptable by law for our memorialization. When I memorialize it, when I did it in the newspaper, our clerk can actually, like, print it out and take a copy from the paper and then seal it, basically. But now that it's in a paper, like, I'm trying to save it's been a learning curve.
Changing technology.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
No,
Keeping up.
listen,
Saving trees.
That's why David just brought it up, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I think I'm behind.
Yeah.
every time laws are changed.
Yeah. I mean, everything has been noted, because before an applicant comes to any hearing,
Yeah,
Yolanta gets a copy of the notice,
Oh,
and
yeah.
usually our professionals do, whoever's reviewing the application, at 10 days in advance, right? So
Mhm.
we can confirm that the boards can legally hear the application.
Yep.
Now, what I'm concerned about on the flip side is when we memorialize
Right.
things, I'm like, wait, did I
Right.
put that in there? I gotta figure that out,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, that's important because it's the appeal period
It's the appeal
runs.
part, yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Nice.
Okay, any other
So do we,
comments, questions? Can we do a similar motion? Are we ready to push this forward? Orc?
sounds perfect.
The orc push?
Oh,
The orc push.
Give it the orc push. Okay, excellent.
I don't think there's
So,
any amendments, are
With
there?
any, I don't think, were there
State.
any significant amendments
No.
to?
Oh, the state is one.
Oh, the
this one.
state.
Okay.
Yeah, I changed that.
Right.
Okay, somebody like to make a motion?
So, I motion to approve the ordinance as we just discussed.
So
Rick?
moved and seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Good.
All right, we are on to new and old business. I just had a couple of things to mention. First, I just wanted to again express my thanks to the ORC. They've been doing a great amount of work as we've all been taking the summer off. A lot of the other board members, the ORC has been busy at work pushing through a lot of important ordinances. They might seem trivial, but they all fit a big puzzle, you know, and I think that I really appreciate all the efforts to keep this flowing. And it's going to get a little bit more challenging as we come into the fall because our applicants are starting to come out of the woodwork. So that's going to create a pretty busy season to do both. So, but again, in advance, I do thank the ORC for helping to keep these things going. The second thing I just wanted to mention is I invited myself to present to the Township Committee tomorrow kind of where we are with master plan implementation. This kind of started out of a meeting with the ORC to talk a little bit about some of our needs. This all started with the need for a zoning map and getting frustrated that that was taking too long. So that's one thing I'm going to highlight as regards to a critical need that we need to budget, allocate. Liz has, and her company have graciously now stepped forward to just pull that map together. Because I know that's a critical tool that really the ORC needs in regards to now getting into the bulk.
We got branding
bulk
changes.
And the zoning
zoning
officer, too.
changes.
And the
Yeah.
zoning officer.
Yeah.
And the zoning, exactly, and the zoning officer as well, so that's gonna be one need, and then I will also talk about, just to finish off the critical needs, is just making sure that we have adequate budget for our professionals as we continue to undertake the ORC-related work. I mean, that's absolutely critical. I like the system that's been set up, and I really thank the professionals for all their support, really the backbone of the group to help draft these ordinances that are very tricky from the wording standpoint, so thank you. The only other things that I just wanted to mention that I'm going to highlight is that we are going to update this list. I don't know, did everybody get a copy of this list?
Not yet, I will.
Okay,
I
well, we'll
it.
update this. This is just going through, you know, what we accomplished in each of the years after the implementation of the master plan with regards to ordinances. I was planning, once Deb updates this, to hand this out to the Township Committee, not get into an exhaustive discussion, but just to illustrate that progress is being made in these different areas. So I think that's great there. We do need to add a few things and make a
Yeah, I will
couple of
update that and send it
modifications.
out to the board first thing in the morning.
And then the second thing I wanted to add is, I wanted to refer people back, especially the Township Committee, that we did do an exhaustive review and development of goals and objectives. So I just want to, I'm not going to go through all the goals and objectives with the Township Committee, but, you know, we really haven't had I haven't had a chance to have a dialogue with everybody on the Township Committee about some of the goals and priorities that really the township should, and especially the Township Committee should be considering. Two areas that we have kind of initiated outside of the ordinance is one with stormwater and floodplain management. So there is a group that's assembling, and Randy's kind of trying to facilitate that. There could be other opportunities for volunteers of this committee to participate in that. Again, I think it came out of the master plan as a critical area in regards to dealing with stormwater and floodplain management for the town and its future development potential. So I'll speak to that briefly and then have a dialogue with the mayor, who's been working with me in regards to trying to get that initiative off the mark. And then the second one came out of all the sewer-related work, was really embracing trails along a lot of the sewer right-of-ways. We still have these great open corridors that have been created through some of the sewer construction that we really want to take advantage of, I think, to create some of the connections we need in this town, east to west, north to south, right, pivoting around the Central Park complex, but also then around the river too. There are actually some nice rights-of-way that have been created in some of the river areas as well. Obviously, in many cases, they're very wet, but in many instances, that's okay. I mean, it's seasonal. Some of the trails are bring your wellies, as they say in Scotland. Bring your wellies, and we'll walk the trail. So can you think of anything else? I'm going to just open it up for other things that you would like to highlight that you've seen in regards to the master plan that I can share with the township committee.
What comes to mind is the annual report from the zoning board and their recommendations on what they wanted us to address.
Yep.
And we have, not 100%, but we have.
We're working
addressed-
off of it,
We're working
right.
on it, so that they know we're not.
We're not
just
off in a bubble.
forgetting about,
We're not
yeah,
sitting
Right.
what they recommended.
Yeah, that's a good point, Pam. Thank you.
Interestingly enough, Pam, to that note, that's a very good point, because when I was looking through tonight before our meeting, the last annual report that we did, a lot of it ties into the master plan zone changes that we're going to be doing. We're gonna start the bulk of that next year, because, first of all, the budget, it's what we call, as Yolanta refers to it, as a master notice. Because when you implement changes to the specific zones, we have to send out notices, we have to have a public hearing on this stuff. So we're trying to, Liz and Yolanta have been very good about trying to, focus on doing a lot of that stuff, setback changes and, other things that the board recommended in the annual report. So we can do it all at once with one major notice. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, Yolanta?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Great.
Yeah, for the things that we're required to do the notice for.
Right.
Some of the things we're not, some of the things we are.
Right.
We'll cross those bridges when we come to them.
Yeah. Good.
Very good.
Anything else anybody can think of?
I just
That
want to
sounds like a
remind the
good
board, September is a big month.
Hmm.
2 dates. The first
Yeah.
date in September, you have 2 subdivisions. And the second date in September, you have Sterling Crossing,
Right.
which I've sent everybody the link. We do have plans, if anybody wants a hard copy. We've received a traffic report. Oh, I should have put that on the agenda tonight. We'll do that next agenda for the resolution. But anyway, I have the traffic report. I heard from the police department. We heard from fire. So within the next week, I'm going to be forwarding those documents to the board. Liz and Joe will be finalizing their reports on that. And yeah, yes.
Just, thank you for reminding me too, just as a straw poll, will everybody be present on the 8th? Meaning that is that's the day after Labor Day. I will not be present
Oh,
for
okay.
that meeting. So
You'll
I
have
just
to
wanted confirm that.
send me an email reminder.
Yeah, I'll remind you of that, unfortunately. So that is the day after Labor Day.
Can I make a
That's it.
comment about Sterling Crossing?
No.
I can't say anything
Nope.
about it
No.
yet? Okay.
Nope.
Even if there's something missing?
No,
Nope.
you would send me a separate email, not on the record here.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Just
Okay.
one
Yes,
other thing,
please.
Mr. Chair. When you get the township committee's attention, and we have a bunch of applicants that are gonna be coming before the board and the zoning board, can we get the communications aspect addressed as well?
Mm-hmm. That's a good
The
point.
microphones and the
Mm.
batteries for that thing and probably some of the,
Cue the
audio.
bad microphones.
Yeah.
Right.
thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
You can hear it already.
Yep.
Good.
These are, they're difficult to work with, certainly.
Yes. All right, if we have nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.